Are there any rules of thumb about relative nib sizes? Like, do certain manufacturers consistently run larger or smaller? Do nibs from, say, Germany or Japan tend to be wider or narrower than the same size nibs from elsewhere? Yeah, so I think it's pretty well understood that Japanese nibs tend to be ground finer than European ones. Mainly all the European ones come from Germany. And then there's a bunch of pens where you don't really know where they're made. Their nibs may come from Germany. They may not. They may come from Asia. It gets kind of questionable. You know, a lot of the manufacturers use parts from different places all over the world. That's not uncommon for basically all products that are made these days, for stuff to be made kind of all over the place. But yeah, definitely, like, the reason that the Japanese are so distinctly different is because you basically have Sailor, Platinum, and Pilot that are all in Japan, and they actually manufacture all their own nibs. They grind them all, they do it all themselves in-house. And I guess their culture, they just, you know, because of the characters and stuff that they write, they need finer nibs, so they tend to grind their extra fine and fine nibs finer. Now their mediums and their broads tend to actually be more similar to the Europeans. So even though the extra fine and fine will be about a full size smaller than the European extra fine and fines. So for example, a Japanese fine would be more like a European extra fine. And a Japanese extra fine would be more extra fine than basically anything you'd find from Europe. That's really kind of a broad rule. The reason that we created the Nib Nook, if you go on gouletpens.com, you look at the Nib Nook tool, that is handwriting samples that I personally have done for every single pen and nib combination that we carry. All consistent with Rhodia 80-gram dot pad paper with Noodler's Black. And so I've done that consistently myself with every pen that we have. And the reason I've done that is so that you can get a picture of what every single nib looks like that we carry. So that really is the best tool to use. You can do drop downs and comparisons of all the different pens, and you can see for yourself, gee, what does a Lamy Steel Fine look like compared to an Edison Extra Fine, and so on. You're able to do that. So that is definitely the best tool to try it out.